Go ahead, take a good look. This is the SPK Lumia Gen 4 in Van X and the nature grip milling on the handles, and it's never going to be the same. Now, if you're looking at that benchtop buffing machine and my nice SPK Lumia and wondering what the hell was I thinking, the good news is that both of us are thinking that about this time. But I have to give you some context right now because I want you to understand. It absolutely sucks when you have a nice knife and you damage it unintentionally. The worst feeling. It's one thing if you damage your knife in the course of using it for what it was intended for. So what if you get a scratch on it and you were cutting something? That's called the stonewash of life. What bothers me is when you accidentally damage something because you were trying to maintain it and you lost focus. Let me give you an example. This specific SPK Lumia got damaged by me when I was sharpening it. I lost my focus and the stone on my sharpening system rode up on the primary bevel. The primary bevel is the main part of the blade. It's the part that's right before the edge bevel. And if you skip your stone on top of it, it will scratch it deeply. Now, typically, this is the point in which most sane people would say, use your knife, whatever, just scratch it a few more times, you'll feel better. And I tried, but I didn't feel any better. So for a matter of weeks, the Lumia sat in my desk, looking at me forlornly through the cracks in my drawer, wondering when it would be called upon once again. But something happened. I got an idea. What if we change the game? What if we mod it ourselves? What if we make it better? And that's exactly what I aim to do. I'm a collector and enthusiast. I don't know jack about modifying my own knife with anything other than scales and clips and backspacers bought from somebody else that does all of the hard work. So this is new territory for me as far as putting a new blade finish on steel. My journey begins with picking up this benchtop buffing machine. I'm not affiliated with this company. I think it's pronounced Opiovac or Opavayak or something like that. But I also know that because I don't know anything, I should probably practice. So I put a couple different knives through that buffing machine to see just what I was working with and what I would need to do in order to put a mirror finish on my SPK Lumia. I started off by putting a mirror finish on my QSP Hedgehog, but this one is a nice one. It's a TPK. It's a traditional pocket knives variant that comes with premium materials such as carbon fiber and M390. And then I decided to do some more work, this time on a much cheaper knife, the QSP Reptile, which features aluminum handles and 14C. And between those two knives, I gained basic enough understanding to decide that it's time to take a plunge down another rabbit hole. The goal that I had specifically was that I wanted to put a mirror finish on the blade while also preserving the milling lines that the SPK Lumia is pretty well known for. And while some people don't like those milling lines, I do. Now, based on my prior experience of modifying two other knives with the mirror finish, what I learned is that if you polish in the same direction as a satin finish, it will be much harder to get rid of that satin finish when you're going for a mirror. Vice versa, if you polish against the grain, you're more likely to polish out those pre-existing lines, even if they are tiny. So given that I wanted to preserve those beautiful milling lines on the primary bevel, as well as get rid of the existing scratch that was going against it, I put on my big boy pants and went to work. I would love to sit here and tell you with a straight face that I went into this project with absolute confidence. That, of course, would be a lie. I was a nervous wreck up until the point in which the buffing wheel met the Lamia blade, because after that point, there was no turning back. Once you start, you can't exactly stop. You're committed, and I was committed to making a positive change on this blade. The reason why I decided to do this was because there was already damage to the blade that I had done, and I felt like I could make it right, because honestly, it does bother me when I damage a blade in the course of trying to maintain it by doing something like sharpening it. And so I felt like this was an opportunity to get some more appreciation out of a piece that I do sincerely love, while also retaining the design features that make it such a really interesting and yet simple knife at the same time. Now, if you're wondering just about how much time I spent with this on the buffing wheel, I spent probably somewhere in the realm of 4 to 6 hours over the span of a few different days, just switching grits, changing buffing wheels, trying different methods of applying the paste. I mean, do you apply the paste to the wheel? Do you apply it to the blade? There's pros and cons to both of those. And just how much wiggle and jiggle do you put in the angle of the blade when you're deciding what you can get away with, while also following the direction of the milling lines so that I don't get rid of them. That was super important because I wanted to get that depth that you get out of mirror polished milling lines on a blade. The effect is so cool. It's unlike any other mirror polish, because you could probably call it a 3D mirror polish because of how it hit those milling lines. But I'll let you be the judge, because after many hours of working on this, after hours of practicing on other knives, here's what it looks like. And here it is, guys, the fruits of my labor. I know that some people might be looking at this saying, oh, that's not perfect. You put all that work and it's not perfect. Listen, this is a result of my hard work, and ultimately, I believe that it paid off. Many people might not like the mirror finish on blades for a couple reasons. First is that it's hard to keep clean. Second is that you're always worried about scratching it. And then also, it's one of those things where, especially on an expensive knife like this SPK Lamia, like these Lamias typically cost somewhere in the realm of $800+ possibly even more for the nature grip milling. What would happen if you were to put your own finish on it? Would it decrease the value of the knife? I don't know. I have no idea. What I do know is that I was never planning on selling this knife. This is a knife that I wanted to actually do some justice for, because I'd accidentally damaged the blade, and I wanted to see if I could fix that and also make it something that I really liked at the same time. And ultimately, I think that I achieved that. The mirror finish on here is gorgeous, and I did manage to preserve those milling lines on the flat of the blade. I think it looks really, really cool. Whenever you're reflecting stuff off of it, it does this thing where it's kind of blurry because it hits each one of those milling lines, and then it hits the flat of the blade, and the flat of the blade is a nice mirror. Aside from the blade itself, I also hit the clip and the backspacer because I thought it would be a nice thing to have those two match. The clip and the backspacer are not perfect mirror polishes, but they are polished, and it does add a nice pop of contrast between the handles and the blade. Now, if you're wondering, well, why wouldn't you just send this in to have someone do that? Did you know that these modifications, if I were to send this to someone to do a mirror polish, number one, there's no guarantee that they would do it the way that I wanted and preserve the finish of the blade. Number two, it could cost a couple $100. I'm not kidding. A couple $100. And when I found out, I decided, you know what? Why not just get the machine myself? I'd spend less money. I'd have a new experience. I'd have something to put my name on, and I'd have something that was truly mine. And I'm not disappointed. I'm glad that I went this route. Could I have done a better job? Sure. There's a lot that I've learned in this process. One of which is that you can actually improve the action of the blade when you polish the pivot. I mean, it makes sense now, but I had no idea. The action on this Lumia is really slick and smooth now. The other things that I learned was there's a decent amount of knife modders out there. When they do mirror polishes, typically they'll do at least some of it by hand, either to get rid of the original satin finish on the blade or the stonewash finish, and then they might finish on something like a buffing machine. And those are the ones that you see get the super ooper duper deep mirror polishes. This one's a mirror, and that's honestly good enough for me. To those people that look at this and say, well, what if you are using that knife and you scratch that mirror finish? The best part is that because I went ahead and got the machine myself and I got the buffing pads and I took the time to learn how to operate it, at least on a plebeian level, now I can use this knife, and if I scratch the finish, who cares? Truly, who cares? Because I can just put this mirror finish back on it. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but there's no more scratches on this blade. There's plenty of fingerprints, but no scratches. That's something that I really enjoy. The fact that I can have a finish like this, which I consider to be absolutely stunning, but also be able to use the crap out of it. And if I get a scratch, who cares? Who cares? Well, what if you go to resell it and they're not willing to offer you? Guys, I would not plan on reselling this knife, but if I did, I could always show the pictures and the video evidence showing what exactly I did to it. And who knows, maybe the next person that decided to buy this would actually really enjoy the work that I've already put in. But between you and me, I'm very happy with the way that it turned out. Just about the only other thing I'd do to this knife at this point would be to replace the pivot with maybe a domed pivot from Tie Connector. Either way, I think it looks fantastic, you know, sans the fingerprints. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. If you're interested in that buffing machine that I used to get this far, I will make sure to link that down below as well. It will be an affiliate link to Amazon, so if you want to grab one and also support the channel, feel free. Let me know what your thoughts are, guys. If you want to watch some more awesome knife and EDC content, go ahead and click on one of the videos that pops up next.